Am I crazy, or did Universal just release 2 Dracula movies within a single year? That's very, very odd timing. Hey everyone, it's Alexander Robinson. Welcome to the channel, and this is my review for The Last Voyage of the Demeter, which is directed by André Øvredal, the same director that gave us Troll Hunter, The Autopsy of Jane Doe, and the adaptation of Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. This movie follows the crew of the Demeter, a ship that's heading from Transylvania to England with precious cargo. However, on their way to England, they soon realize that there's a stowaway on board, killing off the crew members one by one, and it turns out to be a monster known as Dracula. So this is a trend in Hollywood that's been going on for decades, where 2 movies that are very similar to each other get released in the same year. I've talked about how in one year we got Ants in a Bug's Life, we got Deep Impact and Armageddon. In 2012, we got 2 different Snow White adaptations, Mirror Mirror starring Lily Collins, and Snow White and the Huntsman starring Kristen Stewart. But I think this may actually be the first time the same studio releases similar movies within the same year, because earlier this year we got Renfield, which had Nicolas Cage playing Dracula, and that was more of a comedy. I liked it myself, but the more I've thought about it, the less I like it, but still not too bad of a movie. And in this case, we've got Last Voyage of the Demeter, which is actually based off the Captain's Log chapter of the novel from Bram Stoker. And apparently this is a movie that's been in the works for over 2 decades. One of the writers of this film, and the one that gets story credit, actually wrote a spec script for this movie as far back as 1992, but it never really got off the ground until just recently. And I gotta say, for a movie that took this long to get off the ground, and what is technically a Universal Monsters film, it's fine. Like, it's not bad, but it's nothing spectacular either. I think I ultimately like this movie more than I didn't, because there's a lot that I really love about it. First of all, the atmosphere is flat out chilling. Since this movie takes place throughout several days on a ship in the middle of the ocean, I got a lot of Alien vibes from this, where there's this creature killing off the crew one after another, and they're in a section of the world where nobody can help them. They are far away from the mainland, so they are really dependent on their own survival. The atmosphere of the ship is really intense, and there's a clear understanding in the geography of where you are, what's going to happen, where Dracula has killed, and it can lead to some really tense sequences where you're just waiting for Dracula to come out and kill somebody, and the build-up can be pretty suspenseful. The kills are really good as well. Now, they're not unbelievably over-the-top and cartoonish the way Renfield's kills were. No, these are violent enough to where they feel real, and also the movie doesn't really pull any punches on who dies. Soon after it's revealed that Dracula is on board the ship, he makes his presence known in a very brutal way, and at that point you realize that nobody is safe. Anybody could go at any given moment. And the score by Bear McCreary is also fantastic. It's really intense, it's suspenseful. And in fact, Thomas Newman was originally supposed to do the music for this film, but dropped out due to scheduling conflicts. And as much as I love Thomas Newman as a composer, I can't imagine any score that he would have done could have even topped what Bear McCreary came up with. It's really good, especially during the credits. So it's mainly the music and the atmosphere that really makes me like a lot of this movie. Unfortunately, the thing that keeps this from being great are the characters. The actors that they have in the movie do a good job. Corey Hawkins is fine as the lead character. Liam Cunningham is probably the best actor in this movie as the captain of the Demeter, and the first mate is really good as well. I can never figure out how to pronounce this actor's last name, but you've seen him in The Dark Knight, the Ant-Man movies, The Suicide Squad. He was briefly in Oppenheimer just a couple weeks ago, and as the first mate of the Demeter, he does a good job as well, but the problem with these characters is that they're kind of uninteresting. There's a lot of cliches that the characters seem to follow. When certain people are butting heads with each other, you know exactly how this relationship's gonna play out in the end, and there are a few bits of humor, not a lot, but a few that just don't really work all that much. And also I found the ending to be pretty lame. Now I've never read the book, Bram Stoker's Dracula, but I do understand that this is an adaptation of a single chapter of that book. But as the ending to a movie, it just feels like they're opening the door to a cliffhanger and a sequel that may not happen. The box office intake for this movie is not super strong at the moment, but it also didn't cost that much. So maybe it could be profitable enough to warrant a sequel, and if we never get a sequel, then we have the 1931 movie to watch. It's tough for me to rate this movie because it seems like most of the technical aspects are the things that makes this movie great, but the actual character stuff drags it down. I'll say good but not great. I enjoyed this movie for what it was. I was never bored, and I ended up liking it more than I didn't. The chilling atmosphere, the kills, and the suspense were enough to keep this movie from being mediocre. So if you have any interest in seeing this movie, I don't think you'll be disappointed at the end, but I wouldn't go into it expecting anything groundbreaking. And there you go, that's my review for Last Voyage of the Demeter. I hope you enjoyed it, and now I want to know what you guys think about the movie. If you've seen it, what did you think? Whatever the case may be, let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell button to get notifications. You can also follow me on Facebook, Instagram, Letterboxd, Threads. I'll see you guys in the next video, but until then, have a good day and take care of yourselves.